In this video, I'm going to give us an intro to classes and objects as they are handled in Python. Now, I want to maybe just give some brief background or definitions, okay, concerning this topic, okay, classes and objects. Okay. Now, what is an object? Okay. So, an object, basically, it's a record, okay, having attributes, okay, with functions and procedures, okay, with functions and procedures that can modify or generally access those attributes. Okay. Now, talk of two things. We're saying a record having attributes. Now, I can give an example. Let me just put a long comment here. This. Okay. I want to put a comment here. Oh, it's not like this. Sorry. So I want to put a comment here. It's like this. Okay. Let me give an example. Okay, a book. What attributes can a book have? A book has got attributes like a title, maybe the cost of a book, the author, maybe the number of pages. Okay, these are what makes the attributes. Okay, so these are attributes of a book. Okay, at the same time, a book, what can happen on a book? Okay, you would want to add, okay, you would want to add or want to maybe update the title, maybe made a mistake. We want to update the cost, okay, we want to view the cost or view the book profile. Okay, so look, you have got variables. These are more like variables: title, the cost, the author, number of pages. These are variables of a book, okay, which have got values. For example, cost could be 3,000, title could be programming is easy, number of pages could be 500. Then update title. Now this could be something that we want to do in case you made a mistake. Update cost could be something that you want also to do on a book. To view the cost or to view the profile, these are the things you want to do on a book. So then these two things, these two describe what, so these are more like actions, okay, actions to perform on a book, okay. So the two things mentioned here, these here are attributes, or these here are actions you want to perform on a book. So that is what makes up a class, okay. So what makes up a class is two things. A class is made up of two things. It's going to have one, variables, okay, which more like define the attributes, okay, of a particular record, and then it's going to have also functions and procedures, which we refer to as methods. So functions and procedures in a class, these are referred to as objects. I mean, these are referred to as methods. Sorry about that. Now, these terms normally go together: a class and an object. Okay. So what makes an object? Okay, an object is, or let's talk about the class. Okay, a class is more like it sets out, okay, the template, okay, of an object. Okay, so a class will define a template of a specific object. What I mean by template is it will more like say, oh, this object is going to have these attributes and it's going to have these methods or these functions or procedures, whereas the object is now the actual, okay, the actual variable. Okay, let me say it's actual derivative of a class, meaning something that you now are going to make from the class is what we're referring to as the object. Okay, so what are we trying to say here? In other words, you are saying for you to create and make use of, an object. First we must create its class. Okay, that's simple, as simple as that. So we have to create a class, then from there now we can now go and create a particular object. Okay. So what do we need to understand here? You need to be able to understand the question is how I create a class. Okay, how do I create a class? Okay, from this the next question will be how do I create an object from a class? Okay, yeah. Then if you're able to create an object from a class, so we're able to create an object here. So the next question is how do I carry out the operations, okay, on a class, on an object? This question here is trying to say, given that I have operations which are in form of the methods, those methods, how can I now update a title? How can I update a course? How can I do those operations on an object which I have? So we're going to try and look at these three: how to create a class, and then how to make an object from the class, and then how to now work with an object once we have it. Okay. So to get started, okay, I'll simply say the way you create a class. How do we create a class? Okay, here's what happens. It's as simple as this. You simply write the word class, then give the class a name. For example, let's name this class as let's call it as book class. Okay, book class. Okay, so I've made a class here. Okay, and this class has got the name. Okay, has got the name book class. So class and then class name, book class, then the following. So what is going to be the content of this class is what is going to be defined here below. Okay. Now, remember we mentioned something here to say the class is supposed to have attributes. Like in this case, we want to put in the title, the course, the author, the number of pages, and that. Okay. So what do we do to create that? How can we initialize the variables? How can we set the variables which are going to be there in the class? And then secondly, the next question is going to be, how can we now put in the functions and procedures in a class? In short, how can we put in the methods? So we're going to look at those aspects in the next part. Hope you understand these basic things, and make sure you try to read around the subject of classes and objects, and that way you'll be able to follow through better as we look at the next class. So the next lesson we'll look at how do I create a class, how can I now put in the variables, how can I put in the methods, and then how can I create an object from the class and be able to carry out some operations on that object. So thank you so much, and we hope to meet again. See you in the next class, the next lesson.